One of the subscribers to the Muscle Repair Shop left a comment asking me to talk about Quervain Tenosynovitis. What was it, and how is it possible for the work that I do to help with that? Now, for some of you, it can be a very painful pain right on the outside of the thumb. Others of you may be just beginning. If you start to feel that pain coming on the outside of your thumb, especially when you're gripping things, stay tuned, because I have some information for you. Welcome back to the Muscle Repair Shop. My name is Butch Phelps. I'm a functional massage therapist, and today we're going to talk about Quervain Tenosynovitis. What is that? And so for the people who have it and who's been diagnosed with it by a physician, you know that that pain is here on the outside of the thumb here, especially down close to the wrist. For those of you who have not been diagnosed with something like that, what you may find is that as you try to open your hand, it becomes very painful to pull the thumb out. And some of you may think, well, maybe I have arthritis in this saddle joint here at the base of the thumb. But the truth of the matter is that it's from the way that you use your hands. Now, some of the things that can cause this to happen is things like gardening, or you're playing a sport where you're holding a racket, a golf club, a bat. Maybe you're knitting or crocheting and you're working with small tools. Dentists sometimes will work with small tools, and so will physicians in their hands. So you're working with things that causes you to have to grip tightly on something small. Well, what happens is that as you do that repeatedly over time, the muscles in this triangle-shaped area here in your hand, which is called the Thenar Eminence, that muscle will get tight and will literally start to pull the thumb inward. Now, one of the things that I learned years ago working with older adults is that I saw this more in older women than I did in older men. I'm not sure really why, but it was a common thing that I saw. But that's just what I saw, okay? But what happened was that their hands, when they held their hands up, their thumbs would get here, will stay here, and the thumb would stick out almost like a little horn there. Well, so here's what happens. So when this here gets really tight, and especially when it becomes, when you're used to your hand in a gripping or a flex state here, as that gets tighter, now the muscles that are attaching out here, coming all the way up to your elbow, when you try to open your hand up, it's too much pressure from in here, causing the pain out there. And there are some things that you can do that you can stop that pain, or at least reduce it by a lot on your own. The first thing I would say is we want to massage in this whole triangular shape here just by placing the thumb here, and you can put either finger, the second or third finger, it doesn't really matter there. But the point here, don't grab a hold of this and squeeze like you're going to try to squeeze this out. Because the thing is that if you put too much pressure there and cause too much pain, your brain will cause this muscle to contract. And when it does, this hand will wear out, and who knows, you may cause the same problem on this hand from gripping here, which is not what we're trying to do here, all right? But what we want to do here is put just enough pressure I can start to feel it, breathe out, maintaining that pressure, and allow the hand and the muscles to relax. And that breathing out will cause your body to relax, and then as you start to get into that and start to feel it, you'll feel the muscles between your fingers start to soften and relax. Once that happens, now move to a different spot. And then you keep working all the way around in this thumb area here, in this triangle-shaped piece, to soften this back up. And as you do that, now what happens is that you take some of the pressure off the thumb as you're opening your hand. All right, so the second part of this is that when you try to open your hand pulling against the muscles here, the pain shows up out there. So what we want to be able to do is, once this is soft, is to free this up so that the muscles out here don't have to work so hard, inflaming this area. Take your hand, and typically when I do it on my own, I'm in this position, but because I want you to see what I'm doing, take your hand, take the other hand, see how I grip with these three fingers around my thumb? See how right at the base of my thumb I put this other thumb here? what I want to do is gently pull down as I'm bracing against my wrist down here, gently pull down so that we can stretch out this webbing here. So once this area is soft, and then you can take and stretch this back out here, now when you try to open your hand, the muscle out here doesn't have to work so hard. Always remember, when you're dealing with muscles, for every action there's a reaction. So if this is so tight that my thumb wants to stay up more like that, when I try to use the muscle out here to pull my thumb out, it's overworking, causing the pain down here, you see. And so by softening here and then stretching here, we can take that pressure off so the muscle down here doesn't have to work so much. Now, when you're doing this stretch, what you're going to do is you're going to breathe out as you stretch out. Only hold it for 5 seconds because we don't want to scare the brain. If I try to hold and pull this too hard, the brain's going to see this as painful and it's going to contract in here and defeats the whole purpose of what we're doing. So what we're doing here is that as you gently pull out here, breathing out, and you start to feel this webbing expanding here, it gets less and less painful. And as you repeat this 10 times, all you're doing with the 10 repetitions is showing the brain that this movement is safe. Once the brain knows it's safe, now you can open your hand, you see. And so it's not something that just out of the blue happened. It happened because of the things that you're doing with your hands, and they just reacted. That's all it is. I would do this every morning and every night before I went to bed. If you're crocheting and knitting, let's say during the day, I'd do it midday as well. You can do it as often as you want, and you can do it anywhere. You don't need any special tools. All you need are your 2 hands, and that's it. But I would focus on that at least for the next couple of weeks, for 2 weeks when you start. But if you continually do that kind of work, even working on a cash register, for instance, you see people with that all the time. But if you do it on a continual basis every day, you can prevent this from coming back. Because if you only do it until the pain stops and then you go back out and you go gardening or you're playing your sport or you're crocheting every day, I promise you it'll come back. And it's not a one and done kind of thing. So once you get the pain to stop, realize if you're continuing to do those activities, you need to do this stretching and this massaging all the time. In fact, to be honest with you, I've done this sitting at a stoplight waiting for the light to turn from red to green. Your choice. You can do whenever you want it. So that's my take on the best way to help stop this Quervain Tenosynovitis in your thumb here. If you have any questions, please leave me some comments down below. Don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell. And if you know someone who has this situation, please share this video with them. And for now, see ya.